from real numbers. We went and looked at expressions and we started looking at the equations. So with the equations, obviously the first obvious step is to look at the first degree equations, and these are called linear equations. We looked at an example of looked at examples of these. So for example, if I have 2x plus 1 is equal to 5, then you have a linear equation there. Now the next step from first degree equations is to go to obviously we go to second degree equations. Now you will see that these are known as quadratic equations, okay, or polynomials of the second order. So now the format is ax squared plus bx plus c, and we have solutions like that, and this is quite important to know. So the solutions are a, b, and then once you have those solutions, they should be able to give you a 0 once you multiply them. Okay, and then there are many ways to solve them, but I would say that the main ones are the factorization method or the factoring method. Then you have the completing the square, from which you can actually derive the quadratic equation or quadratic formula. Okay, so now let's look at examples that we can solve. So you're asked to solve an equation, x squared plus 5x is equal to 24. So now what happens here is that we have to recognize that we cannot solve till we put it in this format, the format for the quadratic equation. So now what do we do here? We see that the first term and the second term are already in that format. So we can repeat these like that. Then what do we do with this? We said that we seek to balance the equation, okay? So what we do on one side, so this is the left-hand side, and then this is the right-hand side of the equation. What we do on the left-hand side is what we need to do on the right-hand side. So we've taken those off, then this equation becomes 5x minus 24 equal to 0, okay? Now we look at the factors that can, so we look at the product first. We discuss this. So product is 1 times minus 24, so it's minus 24. I'll ignore the negative sign first, so I'll look at the factors. 1 times 24, 2 times 12, 3 times 8. Okay, I can go to 4 times 6, but already I can see that the only one that gives me a chance to make a 5 is this. So now what signs do I use? Obviously it's negative, so one has to be positive and one has to be negative. So here I need to see how do I set this up that I can get a positive 5 if I were to add them. Okay, so this is what will work. So it will be x squared plus 8x minus 3x minus 24 equal to 0. So there are things that we can look out for. So if I factor out x, and then I have x inside, then plus 8. Okay, I'm looking to make sure that this gives me the same. So I factor out 3, then I have x. 3 into 24 gives me 8. So negative into negative, I get a positive. So here we see that what we're doing is making sense. So we have 8 x. We factorize 8 plus 8x plus 8. and then what we remain with is that is equal to 0. So therefore, x is therefore minus 8, and x is equal to plus 3, like that. Okay. So this is when you use the factoring method. The second method is called the completing the square method. And so here we still need to be able to recognize this format. And what this format does is splits this equation into two. So this part you create a square, and that part you create a square, but then this square will be this side, so that you, at the end of the day, you should be able to square root this side and square root this side. That's the simplest way that we can look at it. So what do we do here? We look at this format, and sometimes you'll find a situation where this equation is, let's say, if it was like this, so it means that you need to find, you need to have this in this format where you don't have a, you don't have any other number except 1 here. So we divide here, we divide there, divide there, divide there. At the end of the day, then we get an equation like this. That's the only time that completing the square method will work. Now here, we are going to, first of all, set it up that it's in this format. So how do we set it up? We say x squared plus 5x is equal to 24. So I've taken this and moved it the other side. And remember, you can add a 24 here, add a 24 there. This will cancel, and that will remain here. So this equation will be like this. Now, the completing the square method requires that you have these factors here. Okay, so if you square this factor here, that needs to give you the product of this side. So it needs to give you, let's say, something like this. Okay, so before you even get there, you're trying to create it to be in this format. Let's say plus 2x plus 1. Okay, so yes, half of this you square to get that. So it's the same thing here. We're going to do half of this. So we have 2 of these. Remember, I haven't changed anything. If I add this back, they'll give me 5x. Then I'm going to get this same one, and then I'll square it. But then this side, 24. Then I need to balance this out. Otherwise, it's a different equation altogether. So I balance it out now. Then we go ahead and factorize here. Okay, at the end of the day, it will give us something like this on the right hand side. On the left hand side, the right hand side will give us 24 plus 25 over 4, like that. This we can square. Okay, we can square this. Okay, we square this, and then this side we can use a lowest common multiple, which is 4. 1 into 4, 4 times 24, we get 96 plus 25, like that. So this gives us 5 over 2, still square. And then this gives us 121 over 4. We can go ahead and perform the same action on both sides. So this will give us x plus 5 over 2 equal, that's plus or minus 11 over 2. Now it's plus because if I squared this, I'll still get that inside there. 5 squared minus 1, I'll still get positive 121 over 2. So now we continue in terms of getting the solutions. So we can say x is equal to minus 5 over 2 plus or minus 11 over 2. So if I want, I can simplify it further. Then I can say minus 5 plus 11 plus or minus 11 over 2. Like that. This now can give us two solutions. So minus 5 plus 11 gives me 6 over 2, positive 6 over 2. Then minus 11 minus 5 gives me minus 16 over 2. So then this gives me 3 and minus 8. You remember that these were the solutions that we had for the first equation. So this is the method of completing the square. With the quadratic formula, what is important is to understand that your equation has to be in this format, and then the formula itself is this. So we did a video where we showed how to actually derive it. Understanding that process helps you to also understand the completing the square method. So if you haven't yet seen it, please try and go through. It's quite helpful. So now looking at this, we can see that it's not in this format. So we need to bring it to be in that format. So I will need to have this be on the left-hand side. So I will subtract this on either side, on both sides. So we have 24 minus 24 here, or you can simply move, depends on who or where you are. Some education systems want you to show this. Some will accept just this movement. Okay, so now we need to bring in the formula. Okay, so we know that we have, in that format, we have a 1 as A, then we have 5 as B, and then we have negative 24 as C. So A is equal to 1, B is 5, and then C, you have to also include this sign in front of it. So therefore, X is going to be, I'll start with negative B, which is 5. Okay, I'm using this formula now. And then plus or minus. So we do this. Then again, our 5 repeats. Okay, our 5 repeats. So it's going to be 5 squared minus 4. Our A is 1. And then our C is minus 24. Like that. Then this whole statement we divide by 2A. A is 1. So we continue. This will give us minus 5. Let's give ourselves a bit of space. So we'll have X, we continue to give us minus 5 plus or minus, like that. Then we expand the contents of the radical sign here. So we have 25 minus times 1, minus 4 times 1, that's minus 4. Then minus 4 times minus 24 gives us plus 96. Okay. Then we still divide by 2 here. So we continue here. What do we get here? We still get our 2A Okay, and then we our 2 not 2a, and then we still get our minus 5. Okay, then we get plus or minus square root of 121. So x is equal to minus 5 plus or minus 11 over 2. Okay, be careful with this, don't put it in front here, because then that changes the whole concept of the question. So here we have x is equal to minus 5 minus 11, we get minus 16 over 2. Okay, so that's 11 minus 5, so that's a 6. And so here we get 3. Okay, so these are similar to the other solutions that we got from the other equation. So thanks so much for watching, and please subscribe. Thank you.